Hello and welcome to White Horse Music TV! My name is Richard Bodina and I'm co-owner of this wonderful shop with my lovely wife Michelle Bodina, who's not here today. Today I'm doing a special video for Keith, and this video has been a little while coming. Keith actually asked to try a Struna Classroom full-size cello over a year ago. And and so we said, yeah, no problem there. We don't have them in stock at the moment. We're getting a whole lot of them made. It shouldn't be too long. And then, about 10 months later, they were eventually made and sent out to us. And they're finally here. It's very exciting. We set them up, and then Keith hasn't been available, we haven't been available. And so now I'm doing a video for Keith to show him a couple of Struna Classroom cellos. So this, today, will be Struna Classroom versus Struna Classroom. Who will come out on top? I reckon it'll be Struna Classroom, probably. So, but interestingly, it's sort of fun because, each cello is a different piece of wood. It's unlike buying, say, a washing machine or something like that, where pretty much essentially, if you're buying one particular model of washing machine, it's going to be pretty much the same every time. With a cello, it's every time a different piece of wood. Even if the person making it made it exactly the same, it would sound different because each piece of wood is different. And the people who are making them are hand making them. So, they're going to have, different, they're going to do it very slightly differently regardless of how, talented they are every time. And it's good that they do it differently every time because each piece of wood is different, they have to make the cello to that piece of wood. So they have to, they'll be making the front. If they make it exactly the same thickness in the different areas as the previous Struna Classroom cello, it won't necessarily sound good. They have to sort of like tune that piece of wood for that piece of wood. And so, each one sounds different. And these two Struna Classrooms are no exception. So this is Struna Classroom number 1. I'll bring it right up close so Keith and yourselves can see the grain of the wood. So it's a antiqued cello. So they, I would say moderately antiqued. So you can see sort of like fading here where it might have sat in the case for a couple of 100 years, and around here where people have been, holding the cello and that sort of thing. And there's even little scratches. If I go right up close, can you see any scratches? There's the odd scratch. Someone's job there is to make scratches. So this we will call cello number 1. And one identifying factor on it is that it has this different colour string here. The A string is a Larsen string instead of the helicore strings. And I've done that on this cello because helicore strings are great strings, but the A string sometimes is too bright and strident for a particular cello. And so on this one, it wanted the Larsen A string to get a bit more warmth. The other one didn't want a more warm A string. And so I've left on the helicore A string on that one. And that's what we do when we make all the parts. I spend quite a few hours making the bridge, the sound post, everything. We're quite obsessive about setting them up. And then after doing all of that, we put on the strings, we play them, we decide whether they are the good strings, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so that is what Struna Classroom number 1 looks like. I'll show you Struna Classroom number 2. I won't drop Struna Classroom number 1 in the meantime. Struna Classroom number 2 has this cute little birthmark. Where is it? Oh yeah, there, see? Yeah, there. That is just the bark. Like this fingerboard is made of ebony, and the bark on the ebony, sometimes if it's cut closer to the bark, it's browner like that, and you see sort of like sometimes streaks all the way through the ebony. And I sort of like that, and some makers will sort of blacken that out, but I like the original ebony, so I highly polish that ebony and make it, look natural and look good. So that's a distinguishing factor on this one. So I'll bring this one really close so you can see. It's very, very similar apart from that, looking to the number 1. Maybe I'll bring number 1. Okay. This is number 1 and this is number 2. You can tell, Keith, which one you think looks tastier. And turn them around. Number 1 and number 2. I think number 1 looks slightly darker maybe. Anyway, let's give them a play. Not both at once, I'll just play one at a time. Okay, let's play this one first. So number 1 with the last and A string, let's see. You tell Keith whether this is the winner. It's beautiful and deep and resonant, and it rings really well. It is our most popular type of cello, partially because of its price range is not astronomical, but the sound is really sort of like warm and full, but strong at the same time. It uses Russian spruce on the front, which really rings beautifully. I'll play a little bit more. So yeah, it rings on and on and on. So that's really, really nice. I wouldn't call that one an especially loud Struna classroom. I would say in terms of overall cello experience, it's probably right in the middle as far as the volume goes. Struna classroom cello number 2. Let's see how this one goes. So that's really strong and vibrant and brighter. They're quite contrasting. Like this, the volume difference in here, hopefully through your speakers as well, but the volume difference is really big. Like I'll just play the open strings on them again. Okay, I'll go from number one to number 2, and I'll try to make the volume exactly the same. Big volume difference. So it really comes down to whether Keith wants to be big and bold and scaring the neighbours and the people in the next suburb, or if he wants to be a bit more reserved and not so much scaring the neighbours and that sort of thing. I would say that Struna classroom number 1 is moderate in volume. This one is up towards the louder sort of cellos. Now I will play the bark thingy that I always do, and just to mix things up, I'm going to go from 2 to 1 this time. So let's see how this one goes. Strong and oh my gosh. All right, let's give this one a try. Yeah, that is really smooth and considerably softer than the other one. But one thing I would say is sometimes when a cello has a bigger, thicker sound and louder, like what we call cello number 2, it can be a little bit harder to pull the notes out. And definitely when I went to this one, which is cello number 1, it was easier to get the notes out and have a nice sound. Maybe cello number 2 requires more work, but if you put in that more work, maybe you get, you know, sort of like a bigger, stronger sound. Well, you do get a bigger, stronger sound. So, you know, up to you. I reckon, as usual, buy both of them, because then you get the best of both worlds. But please tell Keith below, say, please, Keith, buy both of them. Thanks for watching.